In this video, I'm going to show you how to improve your building so your builds no longer look like this and they can actually become something that looks pretty darn good. Now, the first thing we need to talk about is the terrain, because if you just build flatly on here, you're going to end up with something that just looks like this. You're basically just becoming a villager. So let's not do that. Let's do something a little bit more special. Now, I'm not saying you have to build an entire biome like I have here in my super flat world. You can do whatever you want. One thing I'd recommend doing is placing it on two little platforms like this, or raising it up just a little bit. That way you give it a bit more detail and add a little bit of elevation. Even if you added a side that kind of just has a little bit of terraforming, just so you've got a little bit of difference on one side of your build. That way it's just not a complete box. You know what I mean? Terraining is probably the easiest way to make your world look bloody beautiful. With terrain done, the next thing we're going to talk about is the walls. All you need is very, very simple. All you do is you build up some pillars like so, and rather than placing your blocks along like this, and rather than just having a big hole in the middle so you can just walk on through, all you need to do is take them out, place them back a block so you end up like this, create your hole, and then you can just spruce it up or birch it up. Ha, jokes, I do them all, and well, you're very welcome. Chuck your birch in, add in a little bit of detailing as you go around, and then you are going to have a very nice looking wall. But then you kind of just build it up, and it's literally as easy as that. Add your corners in so you have it sort of on a pillar, and then you chuck yourself a door so it's set back. That way it's got a little bit of depth. Right, at the top we've got our issue. We'll fill it in like so. Look at that, beautiful. But we don't like that. Boom, get rid. Give yourself an oak stair, right? Because we use stairs to make it look better. Add a bit of detailing. Now, on this side, we'll bring it in by one, and we'll do the same on the other side. Ooh, beautiful. Do the same both ends. Chuck in an oak plank at the top. Gives it the detail. Chuck in some spruce trapdoors, because spruce trapdoors make everything look beautiful. And then you can add them on the sides to give, again, a little bit of detail. If you don't want to use that, you can remove these, and you chuck it in a little spruce fence. Add some lanterns onto the bottom, and then you've got yourself a nice lit up entranceway. If you wanted to be even extra fancy, you can always remove the bottoms and add in composters or even barrels. Barrels always look good as long as you get them facing the right way, and it adds a little bit more of a thing. You can do this all the way around. You can end up with a little bit of an issue in the middle. So say if I was to copy it around on this side, like so, we can remove that out, chuck our oak in, and then we can just leave it like this. That looks awful. If you remove this block here and you chuck in another spruce fence, you've got a bit more of a detail on the outside. The more you play with details, the better they look. Trust me, it's going to be good. You do this on the other side as well, kind of spam it around, make it look decent, and you've got what is essentially a very nice looking front. Now we've got this sort of front fascia bit going, is mix it up a little bit. I'm going to remove this here, chuck in spruce going that way, and chuck in a trapdoor going there. We're then going to do the same there, and there, and there, and it makes it look like we've got some flower pots. Obviously we can't put a block in there, but what we can do is chuck in a water bucket like so, and then it's going to flood, and we're going to have ourselves a little bit of a water fountain, anything out the front. It gives it a little bit of detail. Now this is where terraforming, again, back to our point one, terraforming becomes very important. If you just remove the edges around the sides, give it a little bit of a platform to stand on, grab yourself a shovel, and then you can just spam yourself some paths, kind of running all the way around, looking so much better. Obviously, we're missing a roof. That's going to be point three. Hold your horses. If you've got parts like this that look genuinely bad, check yourself in some slabs. I mean, live a little, be brave. It's fine. Nothing can go wrong. It's only a game. It's not a game, it's life. Live it. Same at the other end. Chuck in some spruce, give yourself some steps, and you're walking on up. And then, if you want to do some more out the front to decorate, grab yourself some leaves, whether it's oak, whether it's flowering, blossomy, stuffy jigs. All you do is you just chuck them about. Don't have to be too precise. You can usually get away with throwing some stuff in, build them up a little bit. I mean, why not? Again, be brave. Chuck it in there. It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. You can always knock things down. If it doesn't look good, remove it. If you don't like it, again, just get rid. Throw some fences around just to make it look like you've kind of bothered. And there you go, you've got a little bit more of an entranceway. And now all we've got to do is deal with the roof. And like I said, here comes point three, the roof. Beautiful. Now, grab yourself some oak stairs, and some people would just go straight up, kind of willy-nilly, throwing blocks up. So you end up looking pretty terrible, and no one is enjoying themselves, and it looks goddamn awful, right? You end up with just something that looks like that, right? That is not an acceptable roof. Not for me. No thank you. Get rid of it. Remove it. It's not good. Badness happens. One thing you can do is take this up by one more block on either side. Take your stairs and chuck them upside down like this. Again, creating an exterior that looks good. Come over the top. Happy days. In here, we're going to create ourselves a balcony. So chuck in some fences and you've got yourself a little bit of a balcony looking kind of entranceway that's going to look goddamn beautiful. We're then going to take it up again a little bit more either side once we've got our sides on. And then this is where we come out on the side like so, on all the way around, doing the exact same so it's symmetrical, because symmetry is sometimes pretty good when it comes to building. And then we're going to do what I hate, which is technically the worst way to build, which is just to create this little pitch that goes up the top. And there you have it. Right. That on top of there, you now chuck in a full block, and there you've got this like weird looking shapy thing. But doesn't that look better than just going straight up? A little bit of detail goes a long way. Again, you can chuck in some oak fences just to finish off these little details. You can even add in campfires if you want to, but I like a good fence. On the top of this, we want to add ourselves an upside down stair like so. On the end, chuck yourself a fence. Lovely. We're then going to alternate going all the way down. So you could kind of bring this all the way if you wish, and then alternate fence and gates. If you want to be proper fancy, you can add yourself some fence and some walls on top just to add in a little bit of the texture. And also, it stops mobs from spawning on top of your house, because nobody likes a house that's riddled with mobs. And then grab yourself some gates and chuck them in the middle, and then you'll have a much better looking build that goes all the way along. Again, it's just all about adding a lovely bit of texture. Speaking of colors, textures, rather than sticking with just some plain like this, you could change this out for darks to give it more of a contrast across the middle. The reason I'm not doing this is because I'm going to contrast with birch, because as I always say, I love a bit of birch. Carry it across with birch, you can sprinkle it in, and then what we'll do is we'll use it as a bit of a platform to sort of launch ourselves from, like so. We'll come all the way across, punch a couple of holes, and we'll trade in a little bit of the oak as it goes around just to kind of patch it in, and it looks so much nicer. As you can see, we've got these gaps on the tops. What you can do, again, you could add in a little pillar like so if you want to go that way. I think they look good, so that's what I do. And then you've kind of got a really simple looking build. By the time you bring it all the way down and seal it in, you've got something that looks absolutely bloody amazing. And now with the sides, as you've kind of got your walls on the side, you're going to kind of mirror the front, because obviously we want to keep it looking a bit symmetrical. As you can see, I've carried over all of the same things. Only thing I haven't done is I haven't just added these yet, which is quite simple. Just going around, adding a bit of light. Again, in survival, making sure it's actually mob proof. It's bloody great, trust me. So on the inside, where we're going to change things up here is add in some windows. Always use a stained glass. Don't use plain glass. It looks bad. I like white because it kind of adds this sort of smokier texture. It looks better. Also, light blue, I believe, looks absolutely bloody beautiful. Like, you can chuck your blue in. I mean, light blue looks good. You can always add a blue. Just makes the world look a little bit more vibrant on the other side. I loves it. Even if you want to mix it up, you know, again, be bold. You do you. And there it is. A nice, simple house that basically is the same size as a small house, but you can always scale it up. I mean, it's not the greatest on the inside. Don't get me wrong. Tiny interior. But you can always expand it. Make it as big as you like. Just replicate it. So if you want to do one side like this, like you extend the sides like so, you do 2 of those on each side of the door. You can have it as long as you want. Basically, this style of building is completely tileable. You do you. I've been Ripmonts. Hit that subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.